Hey guys, it's Tommy CM. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 4 of Let's Build Alton Towers. Obviously in the last episode, if you missed it, we built Spinball Whizzer, one of the main attractions at the park, and themed it all as well. What I'm going to go on to this episode is I'm starting to build back now towards CBeebies land. For those of you who don't know what CBeebies is, it's basically the children's BBC in the UK. I don't know if CBeebies is global. I know obviously the BBC is, but I don't know if CBeebies is international or not. Yes, the CBeebies land is basically just a land based with loads of children's rides based around the children's TV characters from CBeebies essentially. So my first step is going to be over this sort of direction here. I'm going to be building the Octonauts roller coaster. I think it's just called the Octonauts coaster. I don't know the actual exact name of it. I best look that up actually. But yeah, essentially the Octonauts, I believe, because I've never actually watched it. I've just sort of like read up about it a little bit just now. They are like an underwater group of animals that like rescue people and save the day essentially underwater. So there's like a small aquatic theme to this coaster, but it's not heavily themed because it is only a junior coaster. It's a junior coaster that goes around for 2 laps. So I'll be and it's a very basic layout which you'll see shortly. So I'll stick that down so you can see what the coaster layout looks like, and then we'll go from there. So see you shortly. Right, I know you're all excited to see how thrilling this coaster looks. Are you ready? Bang! Look at that. Look how insane that is. All the bends and everything. It is the Octonauts a roller coaster adventure, which I've found is the full name for the coaster. Doesn't quite fit into the title on the menu within the game. So for this purpose, it is just called the Octonauts roller coaster. I couldn't make this as close to the real life stats as I wanted to. So the drop on the coaster in real life is only 6 meters high. It's really not very big at all. But because of the mechanics of the game, the coaster just doesn't get round the track. If I send it round and it's only 6 meters high, I have to have it as high as I do here. Because, like I say, that was the only way I could get it round I couldn't change the layout of the rest of it. This was the only way to do it, even at max speed on the lift hill. It is a junior coaster. This is all it really does. There is a bit of theming to be done around this, so that's what I will be doing now. So I'll do the theming for that and begin on the next sort of ride and attraction area, because I appreciate this isn't the most entertaining coaster to take a look at or section, but I do want to get this right. There's a nice bit of theming, but it's not overly themed, so it shouldn't be too difficult, he says before he does it. So I'll be back shortly after I've themed the Octonauts roller coaster adventure. And there is the completed Octonauts roller coaster adventure. It's been quite a fun one to theme this one, although it's not as straightforward as it may seem. So essentially, as I said before, the Octonauts are a underwater rescue crew, and they go around and save animals and creatures underwater, I believe. And around the track we have a whale for a start up here, and when the train comes down here, the whale kind of spurts water out, as you can see at the top there, and then down at the bottom there's loads of rocks and underwater plants. So what I've done is I've got the stalagmites and changed the colours there to a bluey greeny kind of sea colour, and I think it does actually work really well. There you can see the whale going off. I think the rocks work really well like that. They're the only rock you can change the colour, but I think they actually do the job perfectly. And then I've just accompanied it with some smaller plants as well. Now, the middle of it, I've sprayed with tarmac. The ground of this coaster is actually looks like it's built on slate tiles. That's as close as I could get to it, but I still think it does look quite accurate to the build. Just a bit of background on this coaster. It is a Zamperla Junior coaster. it's not a very thrilling coaster, but it is designed for families and young children. You only have to be 0.9 meters tall to ride, so it is for children to go on with parents. This would probably if you do grow up going to Alton Towers, this would be your first coaster to go on. So it's still nice and fun little ride to experience. And then obviously you kind of go around the queue line. It's all fenced off, and then as you exit, you come around the other way, and you see the train going up here. The other section on here, there is a bubble machine, which I think I've only been on this once, and it was years. It was when it first came out, which was 2015. It opened. It is a fairly recent ride. It replaced Beastie at Alton Towers, which was a classic junior coaster. But I went on this when it first came out just to say that I'd been on it, just to get a credit. It is a lot of fun. And then on the station, the different bays have. I don't actually know what GUP A and GUP B and all these are. I don't know what that means, but there is them on the floor, so I put them in. I'll show you just a couple of pictures now, just so you can see the general layout and where I've got the sort of, what I've tried to replicate, and also just a photo of the train itself, because unfortunately every train is the same colour. So every car on this train is the same colour, whereas on the actual ride they're different colours and the different sort of pods. Hence why there's different colours on the floor here, because that's the colour they represent. So I've just had to go with a generic colour for the train, unfortunately. And then obviously the control centre here where the operator is. I wish we could move the operator in this game, because again they're normally sat on the other side over here, but I've had to kind of build it around there. Again, just one of those little things that, if people want to pick up on actual technical realism, then that's one of the differences. But yeah, we'll have a look around on this ride and go on it, just so you can see what the thrilling experience is before we build the next attraction in the park afterwards. So Octonauts Roller Coaster Adventure. This sign, by the way, they are like spaceships with characters in. It's far too tight to build on and to draw the characters, so I've had to kind of make do with that. But I've got the seaweed down here and the sign at the front. As you go through the queue line, now I can't remember what is actually in this room, but there is a small building like this, and you literally just walk through and out. So I just kind of built it, but I don't really know what is actually in here, so it's just an empty room. And then like I say, you go down here. You have the small fencing, but you are next to the wooden fencing to separate off from the edge of the park. You go up and you can actually look over to see the entrance as you get up here, and then we go and hop on. So let's take a quick ride on the Octonauts Roller Coaster Adventure. Here we go. I won't take you around for the second lap. If you do want to experience the second lap, then just rewind the video and watch it again. So that's that section complete. I'm really happy with how that looks and how it's kind of blending in with the rest of the Spinball Wizard area. And then moving on now, this will be moving further into CBeebies land. Now, in here there is a lot of track rides. However, unfortunately, the cars that are available on the track rides in this game don't actually represent the vehicles in real life. So, for example, there's a Postman Pat ride where there's like little post vans going around, and there is, what else is there? There is the Treetop Adventure, which used to be Squirrel Nutty, and they used to be like giant acorns. They're like egg-shaped cars, but again, I'm gonna have to make do with sending the guests around in cars when I get onto building that. So yeah, no, that's what I'm going on to now. I will extend this back and start going more and more into CBeebies land. So yeah, see you shortly. So moving on from the Octonauts roller coaster adventure, I've made a little bit of progress. So down here you'll see I have built a station. Now this is for Treetop Adventure, or the full name Get Set Go Treetop Adventure. Very difficult to fit everything on on a sign. So, but the actual sign does look like that. It's like a flower with the sort of white petals on the outside and the green sign. But I've just gone for that for now because I think that looks fine. I don't want to like litter it just to get the words on. I'd rather it look fairly decent. So the queue line for that kind of goes in between some trees and bushes. And then you go up and you go on it's a transport ride. It's actually a MSI transportation monorail. Used to be a pedal ride. Used to have to pedal your way around. They did take that out, I believe. This ride's actually been in Alton Towers since 1996. It cost £1 million when it was put in. Now, essentially, this ride goes, and this is the reason why I've not built it yet. This ride goes from here, and it kind of goes all the way around CBeebies land, and then comes back around the front, goes through these trees, through some more trees, and then back round into the station. And that's the rough sort of circuit. Now, I don't want to build this and then have to build everything else around it, but I think it was important I got the station in because that was the sort of key sort of building. Don't get me wrong, it's not complete by any means. I know this piece is missing. I know there's things that aren't quite right with it. But I think it was just important I got the general layout of the treehouse style station, and then I can just tweak the track as and when I need to, really. So yeah, that's in there. For those of you who've not been in CBeebies land for a while, this used to be Squirrel Nutty. That was the original name for it until 2014 when CBeebies land became the new name of the area, and then that's when the rebrand and the rename and etc. happened. Then what you'll see down here, first of all, can we just take a moment to appreciate this sign? Now, I'm not saying that in a vain way. Boz Midget Slayer on the PlayStation Workshop created this sign for me. I messaged him and said, could you do me a massive favour, please? Because I'm not anywhere near this skilled to be making signs like this. I'll just put the real sign side by side here so you can see what it actually looks like. But honestly, to make a sign like that on PlayStation with a controller is honestly, I don't know how he does it. I really don't. And it looks so brilliant. And it's not as if there's loads of pieces sticking out the back, for all the different letters. I honestly don't know how or where he gets the imagination to do it, but yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Something like that makes such a difference when you're trying to recreate a park. So yeah, I really, really do appreciate that. So thank you again, Boz. But yeah, we'll go into CBeebies land. Now, as you go in here on the right-hand side, this ride is Postman Pat Parcel Post is the name of the ride. I know that's a bit of a mouthful, and it doesn't really make sense to me, the name of the ride, but there we go. That's the name of it. Again, it's another track ride where the vehicles don't quite match up to what the ride is. You're supposed to be driving around in a post van, delivering mail for Postman Pat, who is one of the greatest characters ever made. For those of you who don't know who Postman Pat is. But yeah, so essentially you drive around the track and you go past different houses, and you're supposed to press buttons on the car to make noises as you go around. It's a very simple track ride. It's only been in since 2014 in the park. Although there was a track ride with exactly the same route before, and to be fair, the old one was actually the same. Was actually this sort of car. It was like a vintage cars ride. Because I remember going on that when I was a child. So yeah, it's not new to the area, but it is actually a replacement track. So this one was made by Metalbau Emeln, who are a German manufacturer. But as I say, it's only been here since 2014, so it's still fairly new. But yeah, as I say, you do just go around, and it kind of takes up all this side of CBeebies land, really, until you get towards the top end of it. Now you'll notice from this point, I have put a fence along this car park because I want to block off the view of the car park from the ride. So I want to. I mean, I've still got a few more trees to put in there. I've still got the theming to do for this ride, and I think I'm going to finish this episode off by just theming the Postman Pat ride. And once I get the theming right for this and the fencing, that'll be a massive addition to the park. Then with the Octonauts coaster, the station for Treetop Adventure, and Postman Pat, I think that'll be a big chunk, achieved in this episode. And then I think it will probably take one more, maybe two, depending on how much detail there is. I need to have a refresh myself as to what is required up here for CBeebies Land. But yeah, maybe one, maybe two. No more than two, definitely, for up here, because I know there's a boat ride. I know there's a boat track ride, and I know there's a flat ride up here, and then just a lot of buildings, and obviously we've got to build the route for Treetop Adventure as well. And then I think there's some like parks and stuff at the back, so I'll have to have a look at the detail. I am trying my best to kind of refresh myself, because obviously when I go to Alton Towers, you may be shocked to hear that I don't actually spend that much time in CBeebies Land. And the Google Maps images that I've been using in other areas, for example for Spinball Whizzer, they were taken in September 2009. Now CBeebies Land didn't open until 2014, so all of the photos and images on Google Maps are from the old version of this land. So they're not really relevant, they're not really up to date, so I'm having to use sort of POVs and walkthrough videos on YouTube for kind of a refresher as to how things look. But I am trying to get it as accurate as possible, so I'll spend the time doing that. But as I say, one, maybe two more episodes just to finish off CBeebies Land. And yeah, I'll come back once I've themed Postman Pat, and that will be it for this episode. So again, I shall see you in a few moments. And here we go. This is Postman Pat's Parcel Post. The more I say that name, the more I don't get it. Why is it not called like Postman Pat's Parcel Force or Delivery? I get the alliteration, but it's just a tongue twister, isn't it? Try saying that like 4 times really quick just now. Postman Pat Parcel Post. It just, yeah. Anyway, moving on. I have themed it. I have basically used a couple of POVs of the ride that are on YouTube, and a few photos, and I think I'm pretty much there with it. The station is basically like the parcel delivery, or the head office where they get the parcels from, and then they deliver it around the track to different people in different places. So you go down and you go to the train station first. There's an on-ride camera just there for a photo. And then you go down here and there's a farm to go and deliver to. These are my amazing sheep. I've not done faces on them, but I think you can tell they're sheep just by looking at them. So yeah, there's some sheep. There's a police officer down here. And then over here we have an engineer he's fixing a helicopter in the actual ride. However, the helicopters in this game are pretty big, so I don't want to take up that, so I just thought I'd put a propeller in there. And then visiting someone's house, more sheep, visiting the post office at the end, and I've even done my own little letterbox there. Look at that. And then at the end, Pat's there, and it says mission accomplished on the ride. Obviously, the sign doesn't fit that many letters in, so I've gone for mission complete with all his deliveries there. And then you're back into the station. So what I'll do is I'll just put up a few photos now of the actual ride, just some different like snapshots, just so you can see roughly what some of the pieces that I've been inspired by and what I've kind of tried to replicate. So you can, because I appreciate that not everyone will have seen this ride, even if you've been to Alton Towers. If you're a thrill seeker, you're definitely not going to be putting this on your list. But it's a very nice ride. As I say, I grew up with a very similar ride, but it was tractors, I believe, back in the day. Thinking about it, it was tractors, and you used to just sit in that, and it was the same thing, had different decorations, and yeah, I really enjoyed it as a kid. So yeah, it was quite nice to kind of reminisce about this, building this, and theming it. So yeah, really happy with that. And as I say, in the next episode, we will be moving on to do most of CBeebies Land, if not all of it. I will try and do as much as I can. I think the boat ride will be the longest, and then it's just doing the buildings and the flat rides around it, because the only other track rides in CBeebies Land that I can think of are the boat ride, and then obviously we've got the monorail / pedal car thing here, the Treetop adventure that we'll be completing. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. I think that looks really nice as a track ride. It's got a lot of people coming down to it. I think that's just because it's only the third attraction that's open in the park at the moment. And if we just want to take a look at night time, we've got lampposts all the way down, but we've also got street lighting throughout the ride as well, just to light everywhere up. And then so yeah, as you go down here, you've got all of that. And then over for the Octonauts. The Octonauts at the minute, I just need to do the lighting on the actual coaster. I've done it around the queue lines and the exit path. I've basically gone for these lampposts in most of the areas, and then these little posts in the queue lines. I think it looks nicer where they're more subtle in the smaller, the smaller path areas. But I just need to put some big lights on the Octonauts coaster, so it's a little bit more lit up. And then obviously we've got the lighting around here, which I think I do like this lighting. I think this is probably the best lit queue, even though it's not in use at the minute. I think the turning these posts green, I've got one floating there which I'll sort out afterwards. But yeah, turning these posts green I think works really well. And I think it's a nice little subtle queue line that leads you up there. So yeah, what I'll do is I will wrap up here. And I'll finish by going on the Postman Pat parcel post. Postman Pat parcel post, Postman Pat parcel. It gets easier the more you say it. I'll finish off by doing a POV on here just so you can experience it if you want. You don't have to, but if you do, then do enjoy. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this, please do consider subscribing and give a thumbs up. If you do, it really does help me out. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 7 PM for the next episode of Let's Build Alton Towers. So yeah, we shall finish by hopping on here, if I can get on without clicking on the sign. Just pause it, because I can't, it seems. There we go. And we want the very last one. Off we go. So yeah, enjoy, and I will see you all next week at 7 PM. Goodbye.